We have definitely seen a lot of storms in the month of May. Perhaps it's a sign of the summer months to come. So if you have a lot of trees in your yard, maybe you're concerned about their safety, listen up, because Robert Beatty is on the show with us this morning. He is the senior estimator for Big Woody's Tree Service, a name that you no doubt know, perhaps you have used before when you've had a downed tree in your yard, but he's going to share some stats with us this morning. So good to see you.
Thanks for having us.
You kind of brought a little packet that I had a chance to look through.
Right.
So much information in there, Robert, I couldn't look through all of it, but you want to talk about your storm cleanup that you can provide to people, but you get a lot of calls in those storms.
We get a lot of calls from people that's got trees on houses and stuff like that, and we're usually pretty quick to respond to incidents like that.
You have like a 24/7 call center, right?
We do.
So that helps you, but you still can't be all places at all times.
Right.
So one of the things I mentioned, the stat that was very catching for me was that y'all traveled to North Carolina and places that were impacted by Hurricane Helene.
Right.
2,200 trees.
Yeah,
that
was at the Augusta Nationals.
Oh, you were at Augusta.
Yeah, we were down in Augusta when Helene hit, and so we cleaned up the Augusta Nationals where they play the Masters. We cleaned all that up and got all the trees down, and that were down, got them out of there. The golf course cleaned up.
So I have a brother who lives in Augusta, and he had just moved there a week before the hurricane came, and they were impacted as well, and they're still cleaning up down there. It is still a problem. So that was obviously on a broad scale, but when it's your house and a tree falls at your house, that's your own nightmare worry.
Right.
Did you tell me that something like 50% of the cost of repairs from a storm are trees?
Trees falling on homes, yes ma'am.
Something else that you find about, since you're the estimator and you deal a lot with government work, government contracts and things, is that how your insurance policy works, sometimes you get a slap in the face to see how it really plays out.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, and there's insurance has got different ways to handle different things, and of course outbuildings are part of one thing, but your house is your primary, like where you dwell. Mm-hmm. So that's covered more so than an outbuilding or a detached garage or a fence or whatever. But that's what we specialize in, is removal from all those buildings and fences.
So while it's logical that I'm talking to you about storms, that's where most of us go with our minds, I think, is what if a lightning strikes or something.
Right.
You're also seeing a lot of damage from pine beetles. What are those?
Yeah, so the pine beetles, I think, are making a comeback in our area right now. They are, within 2 to 4 weeks, they can kill a healthy pine tree. And part of what makes it so effective in killing a pine tree is the fact that these trees are storm damaged from wind and these tornado storms that we're having come through our area that are breaking them and bending them up and breaking the tops out of making them more susceptible to pine beetles.
So let's talk about those for just a minute. Is the way to deal with a pine beetle to cut down the tree or to kill the beetle?
It is. That's the best way to do it. It's just to cut the tree down.
So if you have a home that has, let's say you've got 10 pine trees, but 2 have pine beetles. First of all, is that possible, or are all 10?
It is. It's possible.
So if you cut down the 2 that have them, is that going to protect the other 8?
It will.
Okay.
It will.
So they don't spread tree to tree. They won't be looking for another home.
They will spread tree to tree. You just got to catch it early.
Okay.
So there's some telltale signs that you can look to see. It's like a sap trail on your tree. If you see what looks like sawdust shavings down below the tree, then those are pretty telltale signs that you've got them.
So I realize that you're sort of quite literally the man on call when the emergencies happen. Off your team goes. But if people are wanting to take some preventive steps to have their trees looked at, do y'all do that?
We absolutely do. We offer free estimates to come out and look at your place and assess if you've got any issues with your trees, or if there's any that are in proximity to your home that you want to get taken out before a storm may blow in or whatever, then we can do that too.
Are trees sort of, if you leave them alone, are they built to last?
I mean, for the most part, you know, with the exception of, you know, the ash beetles for ash trees or the pine beetles for the you know, pine trees, they're pretty well, you know, made to stay.
They're kind of ergodynamic
Right.
in their very nature.
Right.
Because I've never known when you get in there and you start trying to cut some limbs out here and there, if you don't know what you're doing, you can mess it up, can't
Oh, for
you?
sure, for sure. Yeah, right now is not really a good time to be pruning your trees. That should have been done month and a half or so ago.
Why is that?
Just because they're in their thrive, you know, they're starting to gain new leaves and new growth and all that. And if you cut and prune your trees now, you may stunt that growth.
If you see some limbs falling from a tree, does that necessarily, like small ones, does that necessarily mean there's a problem?
If they doesn't have any leaves on them, then that's a pretty good indicator that you've got a tree that's dying off. So, you know, it's good to, you know, and you can prune those dead limbs back
Yeah.
to try to prevent those from falling. But
Is there a tree that you wish we wouldn't plant anymore?
Bradford
I
pear.
knew you were going to say Bradford pear. The good thing about them, I guess, is they don't get that tall.
I've seen some pretty good sized ones.
Yeah. I guess if you're going to plant one, at least don't plant it too near your house.
Right. Yeah, they're pretty brittle, so
Yeah.
they're invasive trees, and some states have outlawed them.
Yeah, they seem to always get the lightning strikes too.
Right.
I don't know why. They've outlawed them, really.
Some states have. I think they're illegal in Kentucky and maybe Virginia.
Okay, so in terms of the rain, I mean, this has been an incredible month for rain. That also weakens the roots.
It does. It doesn't weaken the roots. It weakens the ground around. So, you know, it makes the trees, you know, as they sway in the wind back and forth, you know, it weakens that root ball up and it, you know, the ground.
And if you're, again, back to kind of the preventive steps that you'll take, I guess you could ask, you know, your local nursery if you buy a tree. But if you're looking to plant a tree, make sure you know how tall and wide it's going to grow to maturity to let you know how close to plant it to your
Right.
house.
And usually if you see a tree on, say, a 30-degree tilt, you know, it's a pretty good indicator that that tree's in the process of uprooting and probably need to look at getting rid of it.
Okay, so catch him. He's going to be around for you, but they are going to a lot of places. If they're good enough for Augusta National, they're definitely good enough for your own front or backyard. 510-9663 is the phone number, bigwoodiestreeservice.com. It doesn't matter when your need arises. If you'll just get in touch with them, they'll be able to help you and get a team out there to do what they can.
Absolutely.
Great to see you.
Thank you.